Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Fun Down NFL podcast with me, Jim, Hannah, Pump Raider, and Denver Dave. We're talking about NFL, and guys, how are we doing?
You're a bit happier this week than last week, Jim.
Can we just watch the Pro Bowl now, please?
That's all we've been waiting for.
Not sure why I'm so happy. This weekend wasn't as good, I don't think. Pound for pound as the wild card round.
Differ.
With my team going out. Well, you two beg to differ. But...
Yeah. As the only neutral in the group, I would agree.
Only other neutral in the group.
You're not neutral.
I'm neutral.
No, you're not. Jim's the only neutral. You've got a division rival.
I have equal hate for everybody, so I'm neutral.
This is true. I've known you.
We are here to review the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. Before we do that, obviously news stops for no one, and we need to jump on that coaching carousel because there's been another firing.
You're fired.
Sean McDermott. Spoiler alert for the game review, but Sean McDermott of the Buffalo Bills, after 9 long years of no success, is now being kicked out of Buffalo.
I mean, you say no success. He's won a lot of division titles.
Relative.
Yeah,
relative success. No tangible ring Lombardi-ish success, despite having what many pundits deem to be the best quarterback in the league. The loss this weekend was just too much to bear. You can't lose to Bo Nix and expect to keep your job.
How
what they say?
Dare you?
Just reeling that rod in,
Bit of fish in there.
Good being a neutral, isn't it?
Yeah,
I know, right? I take back what I said. Punk.
It's just joshing.
Joshing, is that not fumbling the ball unnecessarily? I'll save it.
Yeah,
save it for the
new phrase. So yeah, that brings the coaching carousel up to 10 firings and leavings this offseason. That hasn't happened for 3 years.
I think we're at that point now, aren't we, in the cycle? We're at that point in the cycle where people have had their 3 years to try and do something, and so now everyone's getting rid and just changing the oil. I'm not surprised about McDermott at all.
No,
let's be honest. He's always struggled to get over the hump. You know, he's never really put together what you'd call a balanced team either. It's always been good on defense plus Josh Allen, or a really good offense and no defense.
McDermott, he's got 8 wins, 8 playoff wins, and he's the only coach in NFL history to have got 8 playoff wins and never reached the Super Bowl.
Yep.
The only one in history. So that ain't good, is it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm quite pleased with Buffalo for making that decision, because he hadn't got them there and he wasn't gonna get them there. And you're not going to get rid of Josh Allen, despite him losing the game for them. When we get through to the review, you either get rid of the quarterback or you get rid of the middling coach. And I think you get rid of the middling coach. He didn't get the best out of his team.
I think the other thing is that Buffalo will look at it as Josh Allen's window is starting to close. Yeah. If we don't do something drastic now, we're never going to get over the hump.
He's still got 12 years.
Not the way he plays.
Not the way he gets smacked about. Cheapers.
Not everyone's Aaron Rodgers, but the most surprising thing though is that Brandon Beane's getting a promotion.
That's just to get him out of the way, isn't it? They probably had some clause in the contract where they couldn't sack him or something, so they've just moved him upstairs in inverted commas to consult or something.
Yeah. I think you get 2 types of GM generally. 3. You get one, which is a personnel guy, can pick great players. One which can do cap somersaults and, fudge everyone in. And the third is a guy who can do both. Technically, a fourth is someone who can do neither. They normally rock up in Chicago. Or Mickey Loomis. So, and I think he's a cap guy. I don't think he's a personnel guy, because when was the last time you really looked at a rookie class from Buffalo and gone, God, they've got some stars. It doesn't tend to happen all that much. I mean,
he's a stats guy, isn't he? So he's very much, he is Moneyball. So
Brad Pitt did play him in a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
That helps him.
But I think you're right. I think it's more just of look, we want to try a different route. We don't want to lose your, let's say, analysis skills. So we'll create some other weird random job for you and bring someone else in.
Yeah.
Enough of the sadness of people getting fired. How about people getting hired? I don't think we've talked yet about John Harbaugh getting hired, right? We missed him getting fired because he got fired like 10 minutes after we recorded 2 weeks ago.
He only got hired at the weekend.
Oh, good. All right.
We haven't actually recorded a pod since.
John Harbaugh is now the Giants head coach. He was umming and ahhing, making demands, and there we go. He's now the head coach.
5-year, 100 mil.
Nice work if you can get it.
Absolutely.
The best coaches at the moment are being paid handsomely, and if he's the guy the Giants believe in, why not roll the dice on it? It means his paycheck rivals his brothers, which is good. If I'm him, though, I'm checking see if the ink's dry on that contract and go, can I make it to Buffalo? Is there any way I can wriggle out of it?
That's the thing. Everyone that's already been hired is now sitting there going, damn it, why didn't I just wait a couple of weeks?
There haven't been many hirings just yet. I mean, we've got Kevin Stefanski has gone from the Browns over to the Falcons.
I think that's a phenomenal move for him.
I think it's sensible.
Yeah.
Trash to trash.
Definitely pieces there.
Guy.
How dare you?
He's got a type.
I mean, the most successful Browns manager ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is not an accolade to be proud of.
I still think he made it. In other news, Robert Saleh didn't have to wait too long before getting another head coaching job. He is now the head coach of the Titans. He did go back to the 49ers as defensive coordinator.
I quite like that one. I think him having a ready-made quarterback is the big difference between him at the Jets and him now. He's also got a few pieces on that defense that he can work with anyway.
Simmons.
Yeah. And I just it feels like a sensible fit. Obviously,
just needs someone to help him on the offensive side, because we saw in New York he had a good defense, a very good defense, but could not get anything out of his quarterbacks.
No. So we'll see. But I think having a Cam Ward who is that maverick style of quarterback will help. Just because, if needs be, he'll go off script, I reckon. But you are right. He does need some help. He does need some help on the offense. But I like it from both sides.
My first thought when I heard that was, poor guy, he's gone from having the Jets owner who, let's be honest, lets his 17-year-old son try and do Moneyball, but without the experience or the statistics.
Yep.
He's got Madden. What more do you need?
Well, exactly. Going to the Titans owner who can't even get a restaurant booking in Tennessee. That's how much they hate him. So, it's not ideal. The thing is, it wouldn't shock me if the guy who's just been fired from Miami, whose name I'm completely forgetting, McDaniels, they have a relationship together when they were at the 49ers. And obviously if he rocked up in Tennessee, he'd be given the keys to the offense. And he needs, you're exactly right, Jim, he needs someone to come in who can really just take those reins.
Yeah. That would be a good fit.
Not Nathaniel Hackett either.
We've got one more hiring as well, and that was Jeff Hafley. The Packers defensive coordinator is now the Dolphins head coach. So they've gone from offensive-minded to defensive-minded. He obviously joins John Eric Sullivan, who was the vice president of player personnel for the Packers, who's now the GM there. So that, I'm sure that didn't help at all in the hiring process.
Jobs to the boys, right?
To a degree. I've never been that enthralled by the Packers defense.
Oh, you weren't?
They've always had but the thing with the Packers defense is that it's never been that interesting scheme-wise. No. It's just they've had good players at certain positions.
And they still had to trade the farm for Micah Parsons, didn't they?
Exactly. So, I'm a bit iffy on that one, if I'm honest. That feels like Miami doing Miami things. When really they don't need to be doing
change of tone, isn't it, I guess?
Yeah.
So that's it for now. We've still got 6 openings in the head coaching market. The Raiders still. The Cardinals, the Browns, the Ravens, and the Steelers are looking for head coaches. And interviews are happening all the time. No doubt, as I'm editing this, someone else will get hired.
I'm sure Mike McCarthy is already signing his Steelers contract.
So that's for now. As of recording, that is the current state of play in the coaching carousel. Let's move on then to why we're really here, and that is to do the review of the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. And so I have to hand over, of course, to our host speaker for the reviews, and that is Hannah. Take us away with the first game of the weekend.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Timothy. Okay. Opening the divisional weekend was the AFC matchup of the Bills and the Broncos. Both teams came into this game with uncertainty hanging over them. Josh Allen threw for 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, with Bo Nix sitting at 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. An overtime thriller with a combined 63 points really had all sides of the ball digging deep to come out on top, but it was Will Lutz's trusty leg that got the Broncos over the line. A real fun game that, as we found out after, ended with a fracture in his leg for Nix. The Jarrett Stidham-led Broncos head to the conference championships to face New England Patriots. Final score, Bills
Spoiler.
30, Broncos 33.
Spoilers everywhere in this episode.
This is true, yeah.
Dave?
You waiting for me?
We'll let you go first. I mean, come on, it's your team.
I thought it was an incredibly entertaining game. I was off and on WhatsApp, mostly off, and then I came to look at 70 messages between you bunch of numpties, mostly absolutely butchering Bo Nix, and I was like, I don't think it was that bad. Looked after the ball, did what it needed to do, and relied on the defense. I think the Buffalo defense was very good in this game in periods, but also the knock has been on Buffalo has been the defense, but I think they stepped up a little bit in this game and were better. It helps a little Jordan Humphrey was dropping the ball in the end zone, of course. But the talking point of this game is the interception and the penalties at the end. Now, the first penalty, which I don't think was PI, so there was 2 penalty calls at the end. Bo Nix went deep on both. The first one was given as PI, which meant the Broncos went, I think, 22 yards down the field. If that hadn't have been given, they would have been given 15 yards anyway, because Joey Bosa went 23 minutes in late on Bo Nix, and they would have got
interject
the call anyway.
Because you wouldn't have got 15 yards because the game would have already been over. Because if that is called as PI, then the one on, was it Brandon Cooks in the corner of the end zone? Yeah. That should also have been called as PI. I'm going to have a rant.
That was PI.
I am going to have a rant.
At the same time, before you go on your rant,
I'm not going to do it now. I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to save it until you've finished.
Okay.
But this is the one and only time this season I am going to rant about the refs.
Okay.
Nice.
Then at the same time, if the refs are going to be consistent and call what they should have, then the game should have been over well before that point, because there should have been a holding call when Josh Allen was thrown from his end zone, which would have been a safety, which would have been ended. That was before.
No, it wasn't. The Brandon Cooks one in the end zone
was after the Brandon Cooks. Yes, it was after Brandon Cooks. But then
so if
also,
they're calling that one, then you've lost the game already. It doesn't even go to
regulation.
Overtime.
Yes,
it's in regulation. Right.
No, you're right, and that's why I say I don't think it was PI. The fact is, in those moments, I think personally the referees should interject where there is a clear PI. I think the second one is clearer than the first.
Oh yeah, no, I give you the second one. He's all over the back of him.
I think that's
I've got
PI.
no problem with that.
The first one, I don't think it is, and they let it go in that game. The problem is, I think it happens on a separate part of the field, and therefore it's a separate line judge. So I don't think it should have been flagged, but we would still have seen. We would still have seen a rough in the passer on Bo Nix, which would have taken us into the Buffalo half. Go for your rant.
I don't care. My problem is that the refs started suddenly calling this in overtime. It's not that whether they were or weren't pass interference calls. It's the fact that they only started doing it in overtime.
It's true.
We also had the catch in overtime, of which we've now seen 3 other catches, almost exactly the same scenario in the other games, and they've all been called completed catches, not interceptions.
Not exactly the same, but similar.
But close, 2 hands on a ball, knee on the ground. And then someone ripped the ball away as the play is still happening. So I don't. What am I trying to say? I don't care whether they are catches, interceptions, pass interference, not pass interference. All I want is for all the refs to call the game the bloody same.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's a story as old as time.
But even during the single game itself, they can't do it consistently. You know, the NFL have got to start doing something about this, whether it's making refs full-time and paying them properly.
Absolutely. There's no reason why
I can't believe we're in 2026 and that isn't happening already. I've been shouting about that.
If only we suggested it before this time.
Well, yeah, exactly. But that's the thing that drives me nuts. And that's the thing that makes me get really annoyed about these games. These were great games. This Bills-Broncos game was back and forth. The Bills were completely on top, lost momentum through the turnovers. Broncos jumped out to a was it 10-point lead, 14-point lead?
13, yeah.
Yeah.
13-point lead at home.
Bills come back. It was a fantastic game of football. It had everything you could possibly want from it. And then the refs go and get themselves involved because they can't just be consistent for 3.5 hours. It drives me insane.
I think that's the problem. Like, if it had been terrible reffing all game, that's an annoyance in itself.
That's fine. You can live with that.
And then you're like, okay, I know that they're calling a bad game, so everyone's going to suffer, whatever. But to have 4 quarters of like pretty well officiated football, and then in overtime just go, this is my first day on earth. What is a football? Like, it's just, and it taints the game as a fan of the game, but also it taints the win for the Broncos, right? Like, ultimately, both teams had great plays and bad plays, and it's, like you said, end to end, great fun. Really enjoyed watching it. But then now everyone's going to take away from that game is, oh yeah, Broncos won and the refs, oof. And that's not fair. Like,
I think there is the possibility that we're overselling it though, because if the first PI call didn't happen, the second one was so obvious that no one's really going to argue much, unless you're a Buffalo fan, going to argue too much about that. So
even I've got no argument with the second one. The second one was just blatant.
If you take that one away, if you take the first PI call away, which was bad, then the game's been refereed relatively fair. It's that first one, that's the big one, and it's only in overtime, and it shouldn't have happened. It absolutely shouldn't have happened. And as you say, the fact that everyone's talking about it, it's kind of water off a duck's back for me because I'm not overly fussed. As
you don't care. You got another game to play.
You're away. I don't understand why they couldn't go to review on that. It was that drop, intercept, that pick. Why didn't they review it? They review everything else in this world.
Madness.
And it was 10 seconds, and the offense was on the field. Fair play to the Broncos. Get on there, run a play. It's history. But why did no one stop it and go, we need to look at this?
I have a theory, and I don't know if I'm right.
I've got a theory as well.
I think it's because the Seattle game
was
scheduled to be... It had already been delayed by that point, I think.
Yeah.
And I think they delayed it by sort of 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think if you go to review, then there's the possibility you're delaying it further. And I just think the NFL, because the other problem with it is, and we may go into this further in later on in the show, I don't think the replay really helps because half of NFL media thinks it's a catch even after the replay, and half of it doesn't. So it might be that someone's really experienced has looked at it and gone, do you know what? It's not getting overturned either way. Just play on. Just get it over and done with. But the problem is the refs will not come out and say that's what happened.
Yeah, and that's my argument with it is that look.
But you're right.
What is a catch? You know, if you have 2 hands on the ball and your knee hits the ground, that's a completed pass. Yeah. At least that's what I've always been led to believe.
No,
and if you go into other, but hang on, there's surviving the ground and then there's surviving the ground.
Yeah.
So it's like we say, it's very subjective. But I think the NFL need to go away and actually figure out what a catch is because we are in Calvin Johnson and Des Bryant territory again. Just to name those couple. But I think the NFL kind of let themselves down and should stand in the corner and think about what they've done.
Talking of letting themselves down, Joshua Allen.
Oh my goodness.
He handed this game to the Broncos.
Yep.
Let's put it there.
I'd like to think the Broncos defense did have a little to do with that.
I wasn't massively impressed by the Broncos defense in this game, Dave. You gave up, a lot of 283 passing yards, 183 rushing yards. That's 5.1 yards per carry you were giving up.
But 90 of the 183 rushing yards came in the first quarter. So
we saw better defensive plays from the Seahawks, the Texans, and the Patriots, in my opinion, over this weekend.
And the Bears.
I think the Bears.
And the Bears.
And the Rams.
Not so the Bears.
And maybe the Bills. I don't know.
That's supposed to be your elite defense, and you then rely on them keeping the score down and field goals and Bo
I mean,
Nix.
multiple interceptions from the Broncos.
Yeah, because I said
also
Josh Allen
fumbles.
gave you those balls.
Yeah,
We've seen the hero and the villain from him, and he played absolute villain. He got his coach fired in this game. It was that bad.
This isn't the game that got the coach fired. This is the culmination of the game.
Being
but
bombastic.
Look, the Bills had 5 turnovers and were still within a shout of winning the game.
Yeah,
that shows that your defense weren't stopping them.
Nope.
But it also shows that
the
Josh
Bills
Allen
lost
is a
the
bloody
game.
good quarterback.
Yeah, it does. But it also the Bills lost this game in those mad 2 minutes before halftime, where they let you go from what was it, 10-all to 20-10.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was that little section of play there is where they lost the game.
But then they also brought themselves back into the game for about a 10-minute period in the second half where they just went
absolutely,
berserk.
They completely shut you down and did what they needed to do to get themselves back in it. But if they hadn't lost those stupid 10 points with the ridiculous fumble and that, and just be sensible, you don't have to play hero ball at that point. It's half time. Just go into the locker room and come out for the second half. But it just shows once again, though, that Josh is Superman, but overtime in the playoffs is his kryptonite. Yeah. Every time he plays overtime in the playoffs, he gets done.
Yeah. Well, since they changed the playoff rules for him, he's lost all of those games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
On the referee front, the only thing I want to say is, and I was thinking about this today as well, of how the NFL changes this. The sport which has universally recognized the best refereeing and umpiring around is cricket. Now, why? Because they've got technology to aid them. There's no pride over, do you know what, I made the wrong decision. It's, I thought that was LBW and it's not. It happens in supremely fast time. And why does this happen? Because A, they're afforded the time to make the right decision. B, and this is critical, most cricket umpires are ex-players. They've played the game. They understand the game. And C, they're full-time. They play enormous amounts of matches. And people say, yeah, well, it's easier. Get an NFL referee to stand there for 5 days and concentrate and make consistently the right decisions. It's not happening. So
5 days, they can't manage 5 hours.
Yeah,
lessons can be learned.
5 episodes.
Yeah. But that's just my 2 pennies.
We can't stay all day on this game.
Yes,
there's one more thing to say though.
Yeah.
And that is that we hate injuries. And
yes,
I still don't rate Bo Nix as anything special as like a top floor quarterback. But he didn't do anything in this game that was particularly impressive.
Disagree.
But I wanted him to, because you're biased. But I wanted him to be in this championship game, and because the Broncos made it, he deserves to be in that game. And it's a real shame that we have to go into this next weekend with a backup quarterback starting for your team, because I want it to be a fair and square result. Because what's going to happen now is if you get tonked,
no, we will.
It's going to be because it's Jarrett Stidham. And if you they have a chance to get tonked with Bo Nix under center. So I think that's unfortunate that we're not going to know for certain. We'll never know. We'll never be able to get back and know what would have happened. I hate injuries.
I would like to bring attention to Nick Foles's tweet.
Ugh.
About this.
Get in there and make it about you, Nick.
Yeah, as he should. He broke up
everyone who ever tweets anything on Twitter is technically doing that. So let's not single him out.
Yeah, no.
It's not the same.
I know it's been an emotional 24 hours. I feel for Bo and the team, sending prayers for a strong recovery. A positive note going into the game versus the Patriots is that they struggle against backup quarterbacks in championship-type games. I think it's a shame, and, kudos for Bo for literally, when that first came out, I was there like, this is a joke, right? Like, someone's been salty and posted it. Like, I had no idea.
But the problem was,
there was no obvious play.
The play he supposedly did it on, if you watch the play again, he just stands up and runs over to take the next snap. There's absolutely nothing
the most amount of
he's broken
adrenaline
his ankle or anything. Yeah, absolutely.
Force him through.
I was listening to Denver local radio, as I often do, and Philip Lindsay he's one of the presenters on there now, and he had a call.
Ex-running back Philip Lindsay?
Ex-running back. And he had a doctor on who's basically said it's an extremely clean break. There is an outside possibility he could go in. No. Listen, there's an outside possibility he could go in, get a play, get it basically set, and make it for the Super Bowl. because it's
No
only a
chance.
fracture.
No
Dude,
chance.
I'm just saying what the doctor said. I didn't think either, but what am I
No.
going to do? I'm sure they're more qualified than I am.
No, I'm
shockingly.
not having that. I'm not having someone coming back off a broken ankle.
Fractured.
Well, fracture's even worse because
Worse,
it's
yeah.
not a
I don't
clean
know.
break. If it's a clean break broken, then yeah, you can just
I'm
kind of
gonna
isolate
side.
it and
I'm
all the
going to
rest of
side
it.
with the
But
person with a medical
no, I'm
degree.
not
He
having
wouldn't
it.
have jogged off the field if it was
No.
broken.
No.
The number of injuries I've had, trust me, I know how to fix all of them.
Well, next time I
Well,
break
that's
something, I'll
alcohol.
come to you
But
with a
let's
penknife. How
move
does that
on.
sound?
Let's move on because it's time to do a paddling for the second game of the weekend, and that means I get to do the review. So we're going to do the 49ers at the Seahawks. The 49ers have been held to single digits on offense just twice this season, and both of them came in January against the Seahawks. It didn't start great for the Niners, as Rashid Shaheed returned the opening kickoff for a 95-yard touchdown return, just the sixth time that's happened in NFL playoff history. If we're being honest, it didn't get any better. The Seahawks were ruthless on defense and smart on offense. Running back Kenneth Walker ended with 3 rushing touchdowns, joining Sean Alexander as only other Seahawk to have done that in a playoff game. The Seahawks knew what they did need to do to get the win. Restrict Sam Darnold throwing it. He ended with just 17 pass attempts, but no turnovers. The run game couldn't be stopped, and the Seahawks rushing attack had 175 yards more than the 49ers total offense of 236 yards. With a 35-point margin of defeat, this was the largest in any game coached by Kyle Shanahan in his 49ers tenure since 2017, and the second largest playoff defeat in 49ers franchise history. The final score was the 49ers 6, Seahawks 41.
Ooh, you better believe that's a paddling.
Anna, the floor is yours.
Can I just say one thing? I
Go
love
on.
the fact.
Oh.
No. I love the fact that Seattle outscored the 49ers on
With
one play, the
first
first
play.
opening
Yeah.
play.
Well,
Yeah.
let's not talk too much about that, though, gents. Shall we not?
Just saying.
No,
Just saying.
that might be a power play. You never
Might
know.
be.
Who knows?
Might not be.
Go on, Hannah. Let's let Hannah talk
Yes, I'll shut
as we
up.
let you talk.
This is one of the best Seahawks games I have ever seen in 13 years of being a fan. It was just everything that they have been building towards. Like Sam Darnold. I mean, he was 12 for 17.
Yeah.
17, and we scored 41 points. Talk
Yeah.
about efficiency. Jesus. It was just everyone knew exactly what they needed to do, right? And I've come on a lot this season, and we've obviously won a hell of a lot of games, but I've not felt like we knew what we were doing the whole game. Like the defense did always. The dark side, as they like to be called, unbelievable. I saw an interview with a couple of the old Legion of Boom members, and they were like, and someone was like, "Oh, how do you feel like they've given a nickname? People are comparing them to you," and they were like, "We love it. If they go and win a Super Bowl, they're more than welcome to compare themselves to us." Like, it's just. This is what Seattle has been missing. We've been missing an identity for so many years. Pretty much since Legion of Boom, we've been missing an identity where fans can really get behind it. And I think it's just, obviously, as we said, we hate injuries. Charbonnet with his broken knee or whatever it is, that's a devastating loss. If this had been 8-9 weeks ago, I'd have been like, our season's over, that's it. But everyone around him is so confident and competent that yes, it's gonna have an impact in our run game, but it's not gonna dismantle our run game. K9 is the player I've always known him to be. Unbelievable. Cooper Kupp, if you look at the stat line, Kupp this season for us, you'd be like, oh, that was a bit of a bust. But he hasn't been. Everything he's given to the room, everything he's done with the younger guys, we've got a really young roster this year. Everything he's given to them, and then to come out in this game and just make some unbelievably clutch plays, move the ball forward. We were completing on third downs and first downs, and my God, I think we probably had more first downs in this game than the last 10 games combined. It was just so fun and so wonderful, and I love this team, and I think I probably cried for about 6 hours because I started crying with the first sunset overshot of Lumen Field, and then Earl Thomas raising the flag, and then Shaheed with his opening touchdown, and then I just carried on crying pretty much throughout. It was magic. My mum messaged me at like 4 a.m. like, I don't know why I'm awake, but I've just caught the end of the game, and I was like, yes, you have, mother. Like, just generational, and I love this team. I love this.
8 quarters.
Yeah.
8 quarters now that you've played San Francisco and they haven't scored a touchdown.
Yep.
That's mental against a division opponent.
They averaged
mental.
Was it 30 points?
33.8 points or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wah, not against us.
Look, Ernest Jones and DeMarcus Lawrence were absolute monsters. Right. Jones got a fumble, interception. Lawrence has got 2 fumbles, sack, 3 hits, 2 tackles for a loss. They were just everywhere. The whole defense was just flying to the ball every time the 49ers were on offense. And the 49ers just couldn't deal with it.
Mm.
I mean, we did say, to be fair to us in our preview, that, we all thought it was a step too far with the amount of injuries they've got. And so it was proven. But that Seattle crowd, there was no way on this planet the Niners were winning that game right from the opening kickoff, let alone, what happened after the kickoff.
Yeah. Yeah. And just I knew we were gonna win, but I didn't think we'd win like that.
No, I didn't think you win like that, to be honest.
This is what I hope doesn't happen against New England for the Broncos. Because it was a mauling. And sometimes you can just turn the commentary off, ignore the scoreline, and watch the game and know exactly what's going on. And it was a body language thing. You could just see they were getting beat down all over the field. At no point were they ever on top. It's a game of inches, and in this game, it wasn't a game. It was a game of yards, because at no point were the 49ers even close. I think the average third to go, or there was a stat during the game, the average third down to go for the Seahawks was like 3 yards, which in a regular season game against the Titans, that's a given. This is the divisional round. This is where it should be, third and long on occasion. It just wasn't. Yeah. I mean, the 49ers were dreadful.
And the fact that we pulled the majority of our starters with 10 minutes left of the game.
Yep.
Like,
so did the 49ers.
How do you come back from that?
Yeah, but
it's because the 49ers got injured so bad they had to pull their starters. They didn't have anyone left.
No, at that point as well, the 49ers hadn't made it. They didn't make it into the red zone entirely. The closest they got, and I've seen plenty of teams do this. I mean, I watched the Raiders crying out loud. We didn't cross the halfway line against the Saints one year, but they didn't get into the red zone. To do that, not do that in a divisional game is absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. I can't speak highly enough of how good this Seattle defense was. It was just stifling, absolutely stifling.
We all called it. It was going to be a bridge too far for the 49ers. And so it proved to be. Let's move on to Sunday. And I'm going to hand back to Hannah.
Lovely.
To the first game on Sunday.
I'm going to do the second game on Sunday.
No, it's me still. I've got one more paddling.
Still. Yeah, you're in. Rolling.
We deemed it a paddling. It is the Houston Texans
and
the New England Patriots.
Really?
I mean, compared to the other 2 games.
You could have just split it 2-2. But
kind of.
It ended up bad.
Despite the scoreline, it was still a bit of a paddling, so we'll let it happen.
I apologise to any Texans fans out there. In my eyes, this definitely wasn't a paddling.
I agree.
All right, it's not a paddling. I'm still going to do the review. If you like turnovers, then do I have a game for you? 8 in total, 3 for the Patriots and 5 for the Texans. CJ Stroud committed 4 interceptions in the first half alone, 1 return for a touchdown by Marcus Jones. Rather than trying to take the pressure off Stroud by getting the running game going, the Texans just kept calling pass plays. It would have been nice if William Marks had contributed in this game, but he managed 1.2 yards per attempt and had a fumble to add to the misery. The defenses on both sides showed up. The Texans in particular deserve a medal for keeping Houston in the game for so long. They sacked May 5 times, 9 tackles for loss and 4 fumbles, 2 of which were recovered. Shout out as well to Kymie Fairbairn. That 51-yard field goal at the end of the third in the snow was a great play. But the Patriots move on. The final score was the Texans 16, Patriots 28.
The only thing I want to say about this game, and I'm taking it back to the Broncos game as I often do, but you criticise Bo Nix. If CJ Stroud would have put in the performance Bo Nix did, then the Texans would be in the championship game.
Agreed.
Rather than rubbing suntan lotion on themselves in a beach in Benidorm. It's just
agreed.
It's purely. We mentioned about Josh Allen throwing the game away. This was insanity. Now, part of it has to be the scheme of just continue throw for an indoor team in the snow, but also CJ Stroud's better than this, significantly better than this.
Absolutely choked. Virtually every ball he threw was behind his receivers. Now, I get what you're saying about the play calling and that, why are you running, why are you throwing constantly in the snow? Well, as Jim just alluded to, they couldn't get the running game going at all. So they almost had to pass the ball. But the problem was they weren't going for screen passes and, little slants and this, that, and the other. They were still trying to get chunk plays. And even when they did have those short, 8 to 10 yard plays, Stroud was so off target, it was untrue. I mean, he almost snapped his own receiver's ACL at one point because he'd thrown the ball into such a dreadful place that he was contorting himself trying to catch it. It was, I hate to say it, and I don't like singling players out too often, but CJ Stroud completely and utterly cost this Texans team the win.
Yeah.
Their defense was phenomenal. To even keep them in this game the way it was going, it's unbelievable. I mean, the Patriots defense was awesome as well.
Yeah.
But for the Texans defense to even keep this close, it's just annoying that they're not going to get remembered as a generational defense because
they're young.
They won't have got there long enough. But they are young. But the problem is that if CJ Stroud is going to be your quarterback,
I mean, 21 seconds of offense at one point.
Yeah.
Like you could be the greatest defense in the world if you're only off the field for 21 seconds of offense and you're going that hard in the snow in a game against a team. Still not sold on them.
So that's what So Solid Crew was singing about.
Yeah, exactly. Being upset at CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Like
it's modern for me.
It shouldn't ever come down like you said it, Punk. Like I hate being like, well, it is a team game. It shouldn't come down to one player. But my God, this was CJ Stroud's fault 100 times.
But going back to what you said, Punk, it was close, and the performance of CJ Stroud, I feel robbed because there was a chance of a grandstand, exciting finish, and this was for anyone in Britain the primetime game. This was the one that everyone was watching on a Sunday night. And by the end of it, it just sort of fizzled out to a bit of a, I hate to say it, bit of a paddling. It wasn't a paddling, but...
I mean, the problem was, I mean, what was most telling was that when they were trailing by 12 with 4 minutes left, Ryans ended up opting to punt because essentially he believed that his defense had a better chance of scoring than his offense. Yeah. So, 4 minutes left, down 12... divisional game, and you don't want your offense on the field. That just shows how bad it was.
Yeah.
You are right though. All the way up to the end of the third quarter, you did still keep thinking it only takes 2 drives for him to come alive and something to happen, and
or the defense to get a turnover.
Or the defense to get a turnover, and actually all he's got to do is drive him for a field goal. But it just never happened, and it never looked likely, to be honest.
Why did they not bench him?
I don't understand, because
they did say afterwards, they were like, oh, we fully believed he'd have a better second half. He had a terrible first half. Like I said, 4 interceptions in the first half.
But once you get midway through the third quarter and he's not getting any better, then
that was the review.
Yeah.
That was the review from D'Amico Ryans, that they couldn't play any worse, and so he was going to get better in the second half.
He's a bit of a wet fish, though, isn't he? I think I like him, but he's just been a bit of a wet fish.
He's a defensive-minded head coach. He's an ex-linebacker, and he doesn't really know how to communicate with a quarterback. So, and he's got a dog shit quarterback, a dog shit OC.
Bobby Slowick, isn't it?
No, that was last season.
Was it like who's it this year? Do we know?
Bought me.
I did know.
But the fact is, he came out in the second half and immediately threw an interception or fumbled it. I can't remember what he did, but he was immediate. I remember putting on the group, for Christ's sake, just look after the ball.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, when you've got
Nick Haley. Nick Haley is the offensive coordinator.
when you've got that defense, you don't have to win the game. You just have to not lose it.
Yeah.
Just be, what the hell do you think happened with the 2000 Ravens? Trent Dilfer's not in the Hall of Fame as a quarterback. He literally handed the ball off and threw it 3 yards and just didn't throw interceptions and give the ball away.
The sad thing is, with the defense that good, I can name 10 backup quarterbacks who would be able to come into the game and probably win it.
Yeah.
They're backups.
This guy's a starting.
I mean, I'm not being funny, but he's got a contract year coming up soon.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be paying him. I wouldn't pay him.
It's a big question. There's a few quarterbacks where this is the case. He's one of them. Kyler Murray, got all of these kind of guys who you kind of going, do you want to pay him?
No, because let's be honest, other than his rookie season, all he's done is choke in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't want to defend him too hard because he had a terrible game, but we have to remember that Texans O-line has not helped him for several years now, and they traded away Laremy Tunsil at the end of last season and didn't really replace him either. So he has been sacked an awful lot, and you can see that when you get sacked that many times that consistently, your game does change. You do get more jittery. You're not as composed in the pocket, which he was in his rookie season.
I agree 100%.
I think the Texans have got to take some responsibility for the play of CJ Stroud.
But at the same time, when a guy's standing 10 yards away from you and you're facing him and,
you can't get him.
It was snowing. You're throwing the ball further away than you're standing from. You're missing the target massively. That's not an O-line issue. That's a you issue. That's a quarterback issue.
Yeah, the other problem you've got is his decision making.
Yeah.
There were numerous times in this game where he thought he was about to get hit and just threw the ball away.
Yeah.
And had no consideration of where it was going. In fact, I think at least one interception came from him doing exactly that.
Yeah, when actually it probably would have benefited him better just to take the
sack. Just live for the next play.
Yeah.
I don't like doing it, but this was all on CJ Stroud and the coaching staff for not pulling him.
Yeah. And I guess talking about the Patriots.
Yeah, we probably should mention them.
They got it right. They got it right.
They did it.
I am every other team that is going, every other team that has been in the playoffs so far, even the Panthers and everyone, I've been like, yeah, okay, like maybe they don't have the best record, but they got grit, they got thick. And I guess this is like the Patriots' way. They're so boring. And I know that that's a good thing for this because they're boring, but they're efficient. But
is this the first time you've really watched the New England Patriots, Hannah? Because this is the way they always have played.
I'm a Seahawks fan. Trust me, I've watched the New England Patriots. I just and they've just had. We know we keep saying you can only beat what's put in front of you.
Legendarily easy schedule, yeah.
The easiest,
which continues, by the way.
And now they're going into the conference to play the Broncos without Bo.
Yeah,
like it's just if they get to the Super Bowl,
whoever at least they'll get absolutely tonked.
Whoever is in from the NFC are gonna absolutely wipe the floor with them. I just think they don't deserve a dynasty yet. They've not waited long enough. They're fresh out of Brady. They still need to wait some more time. But I think May looked rattled at points in this game as well, which is very uncharacteristic of him. Not rattled enough to do a bad job, but I felt him feel a bit more frantic than usual. I guess going up against that Texans defense, you would be.
Yeah.
But they're going to have to correct that real quick heading into the rest of the playoffs because even the Broncos, irrelevant of what they do on offense, if the Broncos defense sniff out fear, you're out. If the Rams or the Seahawks sniff out fear, you're out.
Let's save something for the preview pod.
That first half of the game, Drake May was pooping his pants.
Yeah.
Because every time anyone got near him, he was just getting rid of that ball so quickly.
Yeah.
It was
right to do so.
Yeah, but he wasn't always being accurate and all the rest of it. I'm not saying he was playing well by getting it out quickly. I'm just saying he did not want any part of that defense whatsoever.
Smart man, to be fair.
Yeah, no. To be fair, it is absolutely smart and half decent play calling to keep things moving. But no, I'm not convinced by the Patriots at all. I don't think.
No.
I think they're a solid team with solid coaching, good fundamentals, and they almost rely on other teams to make mistakes for them to win games. But fair play to them. You know, at the end of the day, I think I saw a stat over the weekend whereby this is now 15 years that either the Chiefs or the Patriots have been in the AFC Championship game. And it's like, that's ridiculous.
Brilliant.
Good for them.
There's three very quick things I want to say about the Patriots, if that's okay. I'll be really quick.
God.
First one, Gonzo was phenomenal. Christian Gonzalez, the cornerback, was absolutely brilliant. Yep. Keyshawn Butte, what a catch. Well done him. And next thing I want to say is, can the referees at some point call tackles not being covered against the Patriots, please? Because it happened on double-digit occasions. It's absolutely ridiculous. It gives the offense an unfair advantage, and it was happening consistently over and over and over again. And the Patriots were making plays because of it. I put this on the group at the time, and I was consistently sitting there watching it, and you could see it happening play after play after play, and it was getting right on my nerves. So I hope that's addressed in the next game.
All right. Okay, one more game, and Hannah, it's over to you.
Hell yeah. Big fan that I've been able to represent the NFC all day. This game had everything. Snow, dominant defensive performances, exciting offensive plays, and a little hand-holding between Sweat and Stafford. My second favourite game of the weekend, both the Bears and the Rams proved why they deserved a spot in the Divisional. Caleb threw for 257 yards, 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, and Stafford for 258 yards with a sub 50% passer rating. Maybe doesn't prove my point very well. But with DJ Moore and Kyle Mononge excelling on the Bears offense, and Kyron Williams and the entire tight end room for the Rams being as impressive as ever, plus both defenses putting on a good damn show, this was a perfectly matched game that really could have gone either way. The final touchdown in regulation was the 2025 Bears at their finest. Despite the loss, the Chicago team have given so much to their city and should be holding their heads high, a sentiment the fans at Soldier Field shared as they stood and clapped their team leaving the field. The Rams move on to Lumen Field, and I know they're quaking in their cleats. Final overtime score is the Rams 20, Bears 17.
I think the temperature made it so the wide receivers on both sides couldn't have a great game. At the same time, to hold that Rams offense, which has scored 30.5 points a game, down to 20 with just 2 touchdowns is pretty impressive for the Bears. Yeah, I mean, the Bears' season's defined by not going quietly, scoring late, being aggressive on 4th downs. I went for it 6 times in this game, converted 3 of them, but those are 3 turnovers on downs you're giving to what I might term, and some of us might term, the best rounded team in the NFL.
The Rams wide receivers didn't drop a single catch in this game. Not one.
But the yardage wasn't exceptional. It wasn't what you expected.
But it didn't need to be. They just made consistent plays.
Sorry, what?
The Rams receivers did not drop a single catch. As long as the catch was deemed catchable, they caught it, every single one of them.
Are you putting up a new stat then, Dave?
No, it's true. Because I think early in the first quarter, there was one where the Bears, before the interception, the Bears receiver went straight through his hands, and he would have been, he would have been first and goal from like the 2 or something like that. It went straight through his hands, and its opportunities missed. It's things like that which have let this junior Chicago Bears team down. In a year or two, they're mistakes that they probably won't make. And they're mistakes that the Rams haven't made, because to them this situation is regular. Whereas for the Bears,
I feel like Puka definitely missed like 4 catches. Sorry, I don't mean to be like I've definitely, there's been a lot of time. Puka is
Puka. I've just looked up Puka's stats, and he's got 10 targets, 5 receptions, 56 yards, and a lot of 16.
That doesn't mean he dropped them. It just
no,
means
I'm just saying that
he just didn't catch them.
Well, it depends.
Is that different from
if one lands 7 yards away from him, it's not catchable.
I'm not sure Matt Stafford's that inaccurate. He's not CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
this is true.
He's
definitely not CJ Stroud.
Yeah. Sorry, I tried to let that one lie, and I just couldn't do that because there was a lot of floundering, I think.
Next gen stats, that's where I heard it.
I have one one small gripe about this game.
Go on.
And I don't quite understand it, so maybe someone can help me out. I said last week Ben Johnson's a bit of a psycho, and you know, struggles to keep it under the surface at times, and you know, he just wants to do the crazy thing all the time.
Yeah.
Why the hell didn't he go for 2?
Right?
Just end the game. I think they asked him. He said he thought about it, but I can't remember why he said no.
That's nuts. They could have done based on the catch that it was and how much energy that place had.
The
they
amount,
would have done it.
Yeah,
I think because they got stuffed a few times on that
stadium.
fourth down. I think it was the other 3 conversions they didn't make on fourth down.
That worried him.
He just worried because they hadn't been consistently getting fourth down conversions that they were worried they wouldn't get them.
I'll be honest, when they scored the touchdown, I was more surprised they didn't go for 2.
Yeah, me as well.
Just because, like you said, Hannah, all the momentum, all the noise in that stadium, all the adrenaline is pumping at that point. Yeah, even if you bootleg Caleb out and get him to run to the corner of the end zone, you know, you could have called the Peyton Manning play at that point.
Blackjack Del Rio would have gone it, wouldn't he? He would have called that 2-pointer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd have put money on that happening.
I get it's the divisional round. Maybe you want to just, you know, actually go and win the game and think that at that point you're going to have the momentum. But if the Bears really thought they had a chance, I think that was it. I think that was their chance, and they just didn't grab it with both hands.
Hindsight's 20/20, isn't it?
Oh yeah, of course it is. Of course it is.
They got stopped, didn't they? So
what a fun game though.
They did get stopped.
I think if they come up against, you know, one of any of the other teams, or maybe not the Seahawks, but many of the other teams in the playoffs this year,
didn't make it that far.
They probably would have won that game. It's just that it happens to be against the Rams, and you know the Rams have the experience, the Rams have the know-how and the players to be able to execute. What I am impressed with is a warm-weather team who play in a dome, go all the way to Chicago, where it's -1 million in the wind, in the snow.
Yep.
They don't give a jack.
Atmosphere as well.
Half of them were wearing scuba suits, weren't they?
That's the other thing. I think a lot of the players, a lot of the wide receivers came in wearing short sleeves. It's like, we don't care about the weather. We're doing our thing.
Devontae played in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Stafford played in Detroit.
That's fine, but I'm saying there's still a warm weather team.
Indoors, James.
Yeah, but they play away games every year, Punk. So
every team does.
But they have to have 3 away games in, you know, Michigan and
cold.
Yeah.
Cold weather. All right, he's more used to it than some would be. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Kobe Durant is going to get a lot of plaudits for getting 2 interceptions in this game, but I think that Cam Curl was really impressive. He had the other interception, which was a game-ending pick against DJ Moore. He stuffed Carmenonga on a 4th down. Yeah, when it gets this part of the season, you need everyone to step up. So not just the same names every day, and that's happening for the Rams.
It is.
Yeah. It was great. This is exactly what I want from a playoff game. Like, I feel like this happened a lot. This felt like a wild card game. Do you know what I mean? Like how great all those wild card games were. They were so exciting. I feel like it was, defense stepped up in both sides of the ball. Defense. I was noticing names that I'm like, I've been watching both of these teams very closely all season. I have no idea who that guy is, but like, good for him. Like, so fun. And we always say, you know, the experience is what sets people apart in the playoffs. And Stafford is the most experienced in the playoffs. And just, what a game. This was one of those games I was like, I want both of them to win. Can they just both win, form some sort of super team? And then I don't know how that would work. The Bear Rams, whatever. But like
the Brams.
Both teams deserve to win this game. And that's when you know you've got a good playoff matchup, is when you get to the end of it and you're like, yeah, okay, whoever, either way, I would have been okay with who won. But
the vibe difference in this loss compared to the Buffalo loss, the Buffalo, it looks as though everyone's career's ended. This is it.
Crying.
Whereas the Bears come out of this and go, do you know what? We took potentially one of the best teams in football all the way. The improvements we've seen from this time a year ago based on that Bears team is incredible.
Yeah.
Some of that comes down to the fact that you have got all this is new, this is fresh. We've got the new. It's a
Yes.
first-year head coach, not a 9-year head coach,
No, I
and
agree.
it's just the
Second
same
year
old
quarterback
stuff happening.
But it's still a vibe thing where
you are right.
the positives are enormous, and I think they can, their offense, for example, there's no holes really in that offense. Their left tackle was out, so Joe Tooney just moved over and was amazing. They've got massive depth on the offensive line, and who's ever said that about the Bears? They can probably afford to just go and draft nothing but defensive players. And we're only a few years removed from them having an absolutely monstrous defense. So they only have a good one side of the ball. But this year's, free agency they're still going to be strong because they're not paying Williams yet. So this could be a big summer, a really big summer for Chicago. But they'll come again.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the review done of the 4 NFL divisional games. We have one more task to do, and that is the power plays. Now, of course, with the playoffs,
we got power plays.
Well, with the playoffs, we do it a little bit different, don't we? We've got to pick a power play each. I don't know who wants to go first this week.
Who's going first this week?
I think we can do it in game order.
Okay,
in game order. Go on then.
All the way back then to
Broncos
you,
first.
That's
you
me.
found a power play in this game.
I did, just one. So when you hear the number 30-30, you might be forgiven for harking back to Jameis Winston's stats from his final year in Tampa, or indeed ESPN's excellent docuseries 30 for 30. But the latest incarnation of this number sequence was at the football mecca that is Empower Field at Mile High. After a back-and-forth game between Denver and Buffalo, it was all square at 30 apiece in overtime. The league's reigning MVP and overall nice guy, Josh Allen, was on his own 37-yard line at 3rd and 10 and looking to go deep. Lining up in shotgun formation at 21-man personnel, Brandon Cooks goes long. But in his rooster tails was Jaquan McMillan. Cooks took to the air and came down with a pass on the Broncos 20 for what would have been a game-sealing reception to set up a short field goal. As Cooks hit the ground, McMillan wrestled the ball out of his hands and rolled away with possession. The refs called it an interception, and the Broncos' game-winning drive, which ended in a field goal, followed this play. The media fallout after this game has been significant. Now, whether or not you think this is an interception or not, the fact is it was an incredible play from Jaquan McMillan, and the replay is not clear enough to overturn the original decision. The Broncos head to the AFC Championship game in large because of a play from Denver's star Nickelback.
Good power play. Well done, sir.
Thank you very much.
I mean, the fact there was a catch and
the
it
most
shouldn't have
controversial
counted
power play we've ever had in power play.
As I say, it was a brilliant play from Jaquan McMillan to even be in a position to be able to wrestle the ball away. So if you think it was an interception or if it wasn't, is largely irrelevant. The play was there and it was made to give him the opportunity to make the referees make that decision.
It definitely had an effect on the game. You're absolutely right.
Yes, which makes it a power play. I thought you'd like that.
Nice. Me?
Yes.
All right. How many power plays happen in the first quarter of a game? The first 10 minutes? 5 minutes? What about the first 15 seconds? In a packed-out Lumen Field, the 49ers strutted out, bopping to a boombox and ripping Seahawks signs from fans' hands. The vibe was electric and the Niners came to play. What they forgot to include in their preparations was the absolute weapon Rashid Shaheed. Taking his place at kickoff, Shaheed waited patiently for the ball. Landing perfectly in his arms, he took off, slipping tackles and darting his way up the field. As he ran, the crowd reached 128 decibels, Lumen registered on the Richter scale, and the Seahawks were on the board. This 95-yard return and the handy point after from Myers were actually the only points Seattle needed to score to win this divisional rival divisional game. The 49ers were over before they began, and Seattle put belt to arse for the rest of the game.
That's excellent. And I'm glad you mentioned about the way the 49ers came into the stadium, because that really irritated me.
Absolute bummers.
It's it was going to be a tough day for the 49ers, but to do that on the opening drive,
it really just put the nail in the coffin, didn't it? I mean, I love the fact that you got how loud the crowd was in there, because that really came through, I thought, on the broadcast as well. That it was a mega loud stadium.
The only times the Seahawks crowd has been louder than that was the Beastquake in 2010 against the Saints.
I remember that.
That was 136 decibels.
Jesus.
So
I thought the Broncos were good this week at 121.
Yeah,
That
128
is
decibels.
amazing.
And what they'd done for ahead of this game, and I think they're just going to leave it in all season now, is they have recorders within the stadium now to physically record the movement, and yeah, it registered.
Registers as an earthquake.
Yeah,
Oh,
phenomenal.
love it.
Yeah, so
Love it.
power play of the season, in my opinion.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Well,
Punk, can you beat that?
I can always beat that. Don't you worry.
I don't think you can.
Let's see.
I can. MVP was the cry from the stands in Foxborough on Sunday, but it was the defenses that were coming out on top. It's not often you get 8 turnovers in any game, let alone in the divisional round. Having said that, you need to score points to win a game. With 12:58 left in the fourth quarter, the Patriots held a slim 21-16 lead. They faced a 3rd and 4 at the Texans' 32-yard line. Drake May took the snap, throws a lofted deep ball towards the front corner of the end zone. The pass initially looks like it might be overthrown and out of reach, but here comes the booty. Keyshawn Booty. He's lined up outside with Derek Stingley Jr. for company. Booty broke into a full sprint on a go route straight from the line. Despite the pass being slightly out in front, Booty had got the step on Stingley, and as he crossed the goal line, made a full extension one-handed grab with his right hand as he tumbled onto the snowy turf, maintaining possession as he slid out of bounds and turning Gillette Stadium into a mosh pit, and the Patriots' booty call was answered. What makes this even more remarkable is that this was only New England's second third down conversion of the entire game, and Keyshawn Booty's touchdown was the dagger that secured the win and sent the Texans home.
It was a hell of a catch.
It was a hell of a catch. Best catch of the
that it was
weekend.
accompanied by Stingwiths with him as well. I completely forgot about that, which makes the catch even better.
Exactly, which is why it's the power play that I selected. I was going to go defensive in this game, and then I went, you know what? That's actually the play that put it to bed. So
100%.
Worth doing it. And like you, Dave, once I saw he was up against Stingley as well, I was like, yeah, no, it's definitely going in.
The power play that should have happened in this game was on Thursday when CJ Stroud was announced as the starter. Just saying, because that's where the game was lost.
Oh God,
it's very good, but I think I got you all licked with the final game.
You might have, and I can't believe you stole this one from me.
Hey, I called dibs. Dibs.
I obviously wasn't quite awake on Monday morning properly and kind of went, oh, what's going on? And then next thing I know, you've jumped all over it. But yeah, go on.
Before I do my review of it, I got a quick clip of a Rams fan watching this play that I'd like to play for you for this audio only, obviously. So
Here we go. This is it. The Bear season. Oh, he's cooked. He's cooked. What are you doing? What is that? Oh my God! Holy shit! Holy shit! No way!
And with that, the Chicago Bears season hung by a thread, trailing the Los Angeles Rams 17-10 with less than a minute left in the NFC Divisional round. Faced with a do-or-die 4th and 4 from the Rams' 14-yard line, quarterback Caleb Williams authored a moment of pure cinematic desperation. As the ball snapped, the Rams' pass rush, relentless all night, swarmed. Defenders Jared Verse and Josiah Stewart converged on Williams, who immediately began a desperate scramble backwards for his life, retreating almost 26 yards behind the line of scrimmage back to the Bears' 40-yard line. With his body contorted and the defender in his face, Williams, off his back foot, launched a desperate soaring prayer towards the back left corner of the end zone. The ball travelled a staggering 51.2 yards in the air, a wild, arching spiral into the frigid Soldier Field night. In the end zone, tight end Cole Kmet, having subtly separated from safety Kobe Durant, saw the ball descending from the heavens. He secured the pass, clutching the game-tying 14-yard touchdown with just 18 seconds left on the clock. The crowd erupts, the improbable comeback completed. Kicker Cairo Santos drills the extra point, locking the score at 17-all and sending the high-stakes battle into overtime. That, my friends, was the power play of the weekend.
It was all right.
Shame they didn't win the game then, isn't it?
It was all right.
When that happened, I did genuinely think, oh my God, they are actually going to do it again.
Yeah.
The old cardiac Bears.
4th and 4, and you basically sprinted the wrong way for like 20 yards just to then off your back foot. And the guy was covered. He was covered when the ball was released. And he managed to get.
don't know
I
why
don't know how
the
it happened.
cornerback moved forward. If
Yeah,
you
Durant just
watch
seemed
it
to
from
lose it in the snow.
behind, cornerback just seemed to move forward as if he thought Caleb was coming
Yeah.
towards him. So I don't know if there's another receiver between
Maybe
the
they think
end
the
zones.
pass would have enough strength on it because he was off his
I
back
don't know.
foot. But it travelled all that way.
I don't think for one second they thought that he was going to be able to do it off his back foot all that way. But there's no receiver. I'm just having a look at it now. There's no receiver in front of them. There's only one receiver within the area, and he just completely misjudges it. He sticks his hands out as though he's been touched. I mean, you weren't, mate. It was just a bum play, but yeah,
it was a touch.
Well done, Cole Kmet.
Yeah, unreal. What, and like just generally for the Bears this season, that tight end room has made some stonking plays. So
and we all have to eat humble pie on the Colston Loveland selection. I don't think he's necessarily been as good as Tyler Warren, but he's mustard. He's good.
Great,
yeah, it was just he shouldn't have been the first one picked. I don't think.
Doesn't matter. He's a mustard player. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever.
There we go.
That's it. The review is done. We need to come back soon and do the preview of the championship round. We're down to 4. So stick around and see who we're going to pick for that.
There is only one other thing to mention, Jim. Congratulations to the Indiana Hoosiers and Punk's soon-to-be quarterback.
Yes.
They beat the Miami Hurricanes.
Mendoza.
Absolutely. And it was a great game. Anyone wants to go and watch it. The Miami Hurricanes, for anyone who doesn't know, are a bunch of degenerates who play dirty. And there was a couple of late hits on Mendoza. They basically tried to kill him. But good overcame evil, and the Hoosiers won 27-1. This is the most like an NFL game you will see a college game be, because there's not 550 yards of offense either way and everything. It was a genuinely good, entertaining game. So yeah, I thoroughly recommend going and searching it out because it was a really good game. And the Hoosiers, the reason I mentioned this, went the entire season unbeaten.
Yep.
Wow.
So well done to them.
It's the biggest turnaround in sports history, probably. And they've never been in the sniff of a championship game. And to do what Kirk's done there.
They've signed some fantastic players for next season, and it's the 4th year running the Big Ten has won the pennant, and SEC is officially dead. Never mind.
Okay, so
is that who Clemson plays with?
No, they play Atlantic Coast. They're dead as well. Miami Hurricanes playing Atlantic.
So with that college update done, make sure you go to patreon.com/finaldown. Check out our stuff on there. Check us on social media at FundownFL, at Punk_Raider, at DemoDave30, at Seahawkhan on Blue Sky. And we'll be back very shortly with the picks. But until then, I've been Jim, that's been Han, that's been Dave, that's been Punk Raider, and thank you very much for listening.
The number of injuries I've had, trust me, I know how to fix all of them.